this is Ed from Musica Lessons, and today we're going to take a look at a Taylor Swift tune, Blank Space, off of her 5th studio album, 1989. The lyrics satirize the media's perception of Swift and her relationships. All right, this is an electro pop tune, so we're going to have to get creative with our easy guitar arrangement of this tune. Now, I encourage you to check out the blog post because there is a Wikipedia link that will tell you a little bit more about the tune. There's also a YouTube link for the video if you want to check that out. And there is a tab link that has the lyrics and the chords, although I created a chord chart for you so that you can follow along much easier. All right, so come on back and we'll take a look at this tune. Blank Space is in the key of F. However, since F is not really a guitar key, we're going to use a capo here at the 3rd fret, and we're going to play in the key of D using our first position chords in the key of D. Now, as I said in the previous section, this tune is an electro pop tune, so we're just going to use some strumming, some flat pick style strumming, and I'll take you through that in a moment. But first, let's check out the chords that you're going to need for this tune. As I said, we're going to be in the key of D, so we're going to start off with a D chord. And these are all garden variety chords, so don't worry too much about them. You can also check out the blog post and you'll see the chord diagrams there. So the first chord is D, garden variety E minor. Then your typical G chord. Now, you can play whichever G chord you're comfortable with. I like the 4-finger version, which I'm playing here. However, a lot of times I lift up my first finger and get a little bit more separation with the bass and the top part of the chord. Then we have a typical A chord. Now I'll fret this 2 ways. This is a traditional finger style way with my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers at the 2nd fret of the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, and the 5th and 1st strings open. However, since I'm coming from an A7 sus4 chord, which I'll be coming from the G chord to the A7 sus4 chord, so from the G chord I will have this fingering with my 3rd and 4th fingers on the 3rd fret of the 2nd and 1st strings. I'll keep these down, and then I'll use my 1st finger to bar the A chord to create that A7 sus4, and then I'll go to the A chord like that in the verse. And there's the B minor. This is going to be the trickiest one of the bunch. It's based off of your A minor version. It's a movable chord version. All right, so those are all the chords for this tune. All right, so review those and come on back and we'll go over the strumming pattern. We're going to be using a series of strumming techniques. These are flat picking techniques that you can use them on electric or acoustic guitar for your accompaniment patterns. For this tune, what we're going to do is we're going to use a targeted strumming technique, because if we hit all 6 strings at the same time, it's just not going to sound good. All right, so for the D chord, our targeted strumming technique, what it does is it breaks the guitar up into sections, a lower section and an upper section. You can look at it as the bottom 3 strings and the top 3 strings. For the bottom 3 strings, I'm really looking at just hitting the bass note of the root. If I hit an extra string, that's okay. If I hit a string that's muted, that's also okay. Don't worry about that too much. All right, for the top part, I'm going to use some alternate strums. Okay, so for the bottom part, I'm going to hit the D. Then for the top part, okay, so that's the targeted strumming technique. What you'll see is I'll hit the bass note, aim for the lower part of the guitar, and then I'll fill in with the upper part with alternate strums. All right, for the downbeat, for the one of the measure, you want to hit a bass note. You want to hit the lower part of the guitar. That'll really keep your groove going for you. Okay, and that's pretty much going to be the technique for strumming. The other thing that you're going to use is when the strumming gets busier, I'll demonstrate it here on the B minor chord. I'll use a pulsing technique, and what the pulsing technique is I'm not letting go of the strings. I am releasing the pressure. So if you see my left hand, you'll see I squeeze and release, and the release cuts the ring. So it makes it a little bit more percussive, and especially when you're playing a busy rhythm like what we're going to be doing in this tune, you're going to want to use that technique. So those are your two techniques. We open with the verse. There is no intro to this tune. And the first time through, you really want to use whole note strums. Let it ring out so this way you can build, because if you kept the same strumming pattern going throughout the whole tune, it really would just start to get monotonous. It would just start to sound boring. Okay, so the structure of it is it's 2 8-bar sections for the verse. D for 2 measures, B minor for 2 measures, G for 2 measures, and then the last 2 measures will be A7 sus 4, and I fret it like this so that I can release it to the A chord. It repeats, D for 2 measures, B minor for 2 measures, G again for 2 measures, and then this time around we have A for a measure and then 2 beats of G, 2 beats of A, and that's the structure for the verse. Add your targeted strumming. And you're all set. The chorus for blank space is very similar to the verse. It's an 8-bar section. However, in this case, the 8 bars repeat exactly the same. You have 2 measures of D, 2 measures of B minor, 2 measures of E minor, this is where the difference is, and 2 measures of G. And that's it. So all you got to do is add your targeted strumming and your pulsing, and you're all set. I hope you enjoyed learning blank space. This is a fun tune to play, and it's really popular with female audience members. I often perform with a female singer, and we strategically place this tune as our go-to tune if we need to win over younger female audience members. All right, so I want to thank you for hanging with me. I appreciate you taking time to check out this lesson, and I'll see you here next time.